Hi everyone, and welcome to part 3 of our Mr. Incredible modeling video. So we left off by sketching out the overall shapes for the head. Now obviously this is far from being finished, but it gives us a pretty good start from where we can continue developing the rest of the character. And now we're gonna focus a little bit more on the body, because clearly the body hasn't I haven't done yet on the body, as you can clearly see. It looks a bit ridiculous right now, but don't worry, it's gonna look fine at the end. So for the body, let's go back to our reference folder here. Let me hide this, and let's see what we have. So this was our initial image, and it's pretty good, but unfortunately for us it has a pose and it's not from the front, but that's fine. We can still use this for the overall volumes and proportions. So if we go back to ZBrush, let's see what we can do with that image. So again, let's activate our see-through, and let's place our character in a way that the size of the head could be considered like a good match. Obviously this character in this image is posed, so we're gonna have to guess excuse me, I'm gonna have to guess what this proportion is gonna be, but it's fine. So as we can see with this, if we put the head about here, head look fairly roughly the same size, and we can immediately see that the legs that we did previously are very small, very short, but don't worry, we will fix that. Now let's start by defining, actually, you know what, let's do that. So to do that, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select this area, and I have a couple of ways of selecting the legs. So if you watch the video from the beginning, you might remember that when we generate the mesh from our Z-spheres, ZBrush also created this polygroup. As you can see, the legs, they have different colors. Every part has different colors, so we can actually use this to select easily our limbs. So if I press Ctrl Shift and then I click, as you can see, this ZBrush will display only the part with this polygroup, which is this green here. If I show all the mesh by clicking again with Ctrl Shift and clicking outside, it will bring back everything else. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna click this to isolate. Now if I click again on this polygroup, it will invert the visibility. So if I do that again, it will display everything else. And now we're gonna click again, Control Shift and click on all these other polygroups. It might be difficult to see, but these are two separate polygroups. So we're gonna click, Control Shift click here, 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 and here. And now if I Control Shift and do a selection like this, it will again invert the selection. So everything that was hidden now is visible. And now with this selected, I can just hit Control and do a mask like this. And when I bring back my model, my legs will be masked. Now this is a bit harsh kind of mask, so what I can do, I can click Shift, and if I tap over my model, sorry, it was Control. So what I can do, I can hit Control and tap on my model, and this will smooth the mask like this. As I can continue tapping, it will smooth the mask. While holding Control, if I click outside of the model, it will invert the mask, and then again Control tap will smooth this side as well. I keep tapping, and now I have a very smooth mask going on. So now with the body masked and the legs unmasked, what I can do, I can just use transpose here, and I click scale. I'm gonna click and drag a transpose line like this. And now with this, if I click in this red circle here, I can scale my legs. However, that's not really what I want. So instead of using scale, because basically what scale does, it scales uniformly this selection. But what I want to do, I want to stretch my legs. So instead of using scale, I'm going to click on move and do the same. I'm just going to click in the red circle and stretch the legs. As you can see, I can stretch them, move them around like this. I'm just going to undo 1 second and bring back my reference image here. Maybe go out of perspective mode. And let's see, roughly, let's align like this. And now if I can, I can stretch it a little bit like so. Considering that this is perspective, let's just stretch the heels to make them roughly, if I see the heel of the foot, to make it roughly the same size, the same length as this one. Okay. Alright, so let's go back to draw, and now I can regenerate my Dynamesh by clicking Control and do a selection outside my model. This will regenerate my Dynamesh, like in previous video I showed already. And so now I can start shaping this guy to make it look like more Mr. Incredible. As you can see clearly, the legs and the arms are needs to be much more developed, and also you can see that the crotch area here, it's kind of too high. So what I can do, I just want to grab my move brush with a big influence and just gonna bring this down a little bit, like so. So it looks a little bit more like it should. Alright, so let's start making some muscle. So I'm gonna start with the legs. Don't really have any preference. And I'm start adding volume, right? I'm just gonna add volume. Now keep in mind that again, these legs are posed, so if we want, we can try to match roughly this pose, but for the body, compared to the face, we're gonna have to do much more of guesswork and use as many reference as we can. So I'm just gonna add these muscles right here, and let's see. So let's see if we can have, let's go back to our reference folder, scroll down, you can see him in different poses, standing like this. He has this very muscled legs. He has this huge muscle going on here. So let's see. Also from here, I believe this is a figure, a statue or a toy, I'm not sure. We can also see the shape of his legs. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna basically do a bunch of guesswork for the volume of his legs. And keep in mind that even if this is a cartoony character, the artists at Pixar, they kept an underlying anatomy. Sorry, I couldn't find the word. They kept an underneath a fairly accurate anatomy. You don't really see super defined muscle like you would see like a regular superhero, but you can just see the volumes, and we can keep this as reference, like that, adding volume here. Let's see, and then smooth out this area like that. Now his the side of his legs also, it's very bulging out quite a bit, but then that changes also when the character moves. I believe that the volumes in the animations, the volumes changes a little bit, so we cannot find one specific pose where the character is gonna look like exactly our pose. That's just not gonna happen. So we're gonna need to improvise and move around and do a little bit of guesswork. Let's see. So the legs here. Seems to have the anatomy underneath, seems to be kept in consideration as it should, even if the proportions are exaggerated. And let's go back to our main reference. Let's see what we have here. So if we bring back the character to a size that it's similar to what we have. Let's see. I think actually the legs are even bigger. We can try, because okay, let's try to align roughly one leg. Something like this. You can see that the proportions, his proportions are massive. He has these massive legs, massive muscle legs, like that. And something like this. If we align the other leg, you can see that there's a kind of this shape going on here. And now let's move back to this leg here. And again, he has this very, very small knees. Let's try to match this again, kind of like that. He has these very, very tiny knees, and then again, fairly big calves, like so, and they end up being this super thin ankles. The ankles actually are I don't believe that they could sustain his weight, but it's just a cartoon character, so who cares? It looks cool. And let's try to align back these legs here, something like so. Like so. Again, this one, it will never match perfectly because we are just guessing what this character could look like from our pose, but now the legs kind of like this. Now for the feet, let's try to again to adapt the camera angle as best as we can. Kind of like that. And now the feet are very small. But they are very defined. They have this very heroic shape going on, and to do that, we're gonna need a couple of we're gonna need to match a couple of angles. So let's go to all right, let's go back to our custom one that it was saved previously. So we need to realign this view before storing it again. Let's see, let's try to match as close as we can, like so. Kind of like this. One leg. And let's go texture and store view. So this is going to be our right leg. Let's match here a little bit better. Like so. Okay. And let's try to match this foot like this. And now what we're gonna do, we're gonna go to custom 2. This is gonna be our left leg. Okay, like this. And we will try to match this leg. So let's go to perspective. Okay, kinda like that. Yeah, and store view. And now let's try to match the shape of the feet. And again, we're gonna have to go back and forth the two views, and then eventually we're going to just guess the actual shape based on our based on just by looking at the images. So that's okay. Let's go back to custom 1. As you can see now, this one is not, doesn't match anymore. So let's go back and change shape like that. Custom 2. And yeah, we need to find something in between. So for now, let's keep like this. And now let's zoom in, and as you can see, this is a bit of a mess. So we're gonna have to, yeah, I mean, clearly this is not the type of shape that we want. But we will fix it. So that's the thing, when you just align things from one view, obviously things don't go the way you would expect, but because you don't have you need at least 2 different views to recreate perspective. So okay, let's move a little bit like here. So judging by the picture, let's zoom. It has this very heroic, very defined shape of the feet, as you can see. So this part is going to be very very sharp, something like that. Again, at this stage we are not yet detailing the character, we're just setting the overall shape and proportions. So all the things like this, you know, these sharp angles and things like that, we can start putting a little bit of it into it, but we will refine those shapes later on. So something like this. heel of the foot is probably gonna be very sharp. Let's see if I have an image of it somewhere. Although maybe from here that's too hard to understand, but I guess let's see. I mean, yeah, you can see here that he has this very sharp end of the feet. So that's what we're gonna do. Probably the heel is more narrow, like this. And his feet, they seem to be, seems to have more volume on the top. So let's add a little bit of more volume with this brush. Like so. And then something like that. Let's smooth it out. Let's make the shape of the foot here a little bit more like this. Again, we don't really have many images of the feet, so we kind of gonna have to go and guess, but maybe even a little bit more. Let's see. We can use this as, again, as reference. So so the pose, the shape of the legs, it's clearly different from the pose from our character, but let's just add a little bit more volume here. Actually, no, not this way. I'm gonna click here and add volume from the top. Like so. And then I'm going to refine. So the shape of the feet, like that. And let's use the move brush. Something like this. Let's smooth it a little bit. Okay, so that's let's smooth out a little bit here. Okay. That looks okay. Now let's see if we go back to our original camera. let's go to custom one. Let's see what we have. Okay, so the shape there, the angle of the feet is different from the one that we traced. So if we try to match only the foot, you can see it's okay. Maybe it's a little bit too long, but I can live with that. And then let's try to see custom 2, and as you can see from here, it looks too short, so it's let's make this bigger. And again, let's just adjust this shape here. Something like this. Oh my goodness. And once again, when you match only from one view, the other view goes, the other view doesn't match anymore, but we will fix it, so no worries. So let's see, let's add volume here. You clearly want volume. Here's where the toe is supposed to be. And maybe less volume on this side. Now what we can do here, if we go back to pinch, the pinch brush, you can just start defining a little bit of this. Actually, let's do here and here. And then from the front, actually let's do a little bit more here. And then from the front, we are going to use another brush, and it's called Polish. Let's try this one. This will create a little bit of a sharpness there. Sharp shape. Like so. Now, let's move this a little bit more. From the front, from the side, and maybe we want to increase a little bit the tip volume. Something like that. And let's smooth out the top. Alright. Let's try to get to a point where the shape of the foot is decent. I'm not sure about what kind of shape the tip has there, but that's fine. So and let's see how it looks. I think it looks okay for now. Maybe, unfortunately, I don't have a view from the back of the foot, but I'll leave with that. And okay, for now this is okay, I think. You can smooth out a little bit here on the top. Like so. And let's see. Yeah, I think it looks good for now. Maybe here. Let's move a little bit more. Because actually it does that. But let me go back here. Let's see the perspective view, and let's try to match this guy. Oh, that's harder than I thought it was, because again the shape, let's see, the shape of the feet, the placement of the feet is different. So but I think so this should be larger. Alright, let's see if we can let's see if we can manage to adjust this. It looks like the base of the feet here, it's wider. And then it goes outside much more than the one I did. Here. So maybe it's gonna do the same here. Maybe it's gonna be something more like that. I don't know. And like so. And then let's move this part here a little bit. Because I think that the part with the toe, the big toe, it's not supposed to be in the center, obviously. Let's go and pinch this here and pinch a little bit this here, and then maybe with polish, let's polish up a little bit of the front just to try and get this shape here going on. And the volume here should be less. You can see how his foot actually followed that curve over there. Let's see. Follow this shape like here. So it doesn't really have this indent that I made. So let's fix that. Let's do something like this and smooth. Let's see how this looks. Yeah, it looks a little bit better. It probably goes even more inside, but I think I can live with this. And let's see. Looks like the foot start, the outer part is the base. So like that. And then the foot goes inward. Let's see how this looks. Need to fix again from this view and maybe smooth. And then again, gonna need to remove a little bit of volume from here. Something like this. Let's smooth out this part. Like so. And let's see. Let's turn on perspective. Okay, so if I align that view with the heel, there's still a mismatch. So let's try to get a better proportions, but I think we are close. So the foot kind of goes like here, like this. Kind of like that. Okay, yeah, kind of like this. Let's smooth out a little bit there. And let's see. Let's adjust this part here. Okay. Let's see if something like this, and from the back, I think. So this is more like the shape that we were looking for. And if I go on the polish, I can flatten out a little bit the top here. And maybe the tip here. Like so. Something like that. Now let's take a look at some other. Oh yeah, it does have this broad shape, so I guess, yeah, you can see here as well. So yeah, this is more accurate, I think. To what his actual feet looks like. Alright. Smooth out here a little bit. And maybe a little bit more of the top. But alright. I think the foot looks pretty good. Maybe bring it up a little bit like this to try to get it as flat as possible. Like so. And smooth it out a little bit. Okay. I think I'm happy for now about the foot. Maybe rise this part a little bit more, like so. Or, I don't know, I need to decide if I want it to be completely flat. Maybe it's better since it's all his weight is being supported by these tiny feet. So let's keep it flat like this. All right, yeah, I think it looks the legs looks pretty good. It looks very exaggerated, like they are. Let's see if I have some other relevant image. Let's take a look here. This is actually interesting for the side of the character. So let's save for now. I'm gonna click on quick save, but also save as, and we're gonna call this Mr. Incredible 003. And okay, let's continue. Now let's go back here and let's see if we can define better his torso, the bust area. Let's go to perspective. Again, it's quite tricky. Let me see. from any other view. Alright, so it's obviously in this version Mr. Incredible is fatter than when he was younger. So even if in the movie he does train and he become fit again, but it still have like a little bit of like love handle, even if you can't really see it from here. But his physique is not like when he was younger, like for any of us. Now let's take a look at the shape of his butt. Let's see, what do we need to do here? Okay, something like that. Let me hide for now the arms. So again, I'm clicking Control Shift and click over the parts that I want to hide, and I'm able to do that because of the polygroups. If I hide the lines, you can see that they have different polygroups. So if I click here, I can hide them. And let's see. So let's go and start defining his pectoral muscles. Let's try to match the body. So something like this. Maybe a little bit more like this, because the pose that he has, he's putting outside his chest. So while our in this pose that we have here, it's very straight, but if you look at him from the side, from here, let's see if we can try and match the overall shape. So let's see. He has this massive chest. And if I rotate the legs like here, the back is not as big as here. So put up a little bit of his butt, like so. And if I rotate like this, this is where his body goes. Obviously I cannot match the head because it's completely different pose. his head is rotated, but now let's bring back the arms. Now the shape of his body is supposed to be like this. You have this arch. I can see this arch shape that follows like this. So it goes kind of like this. It goes back like so. And then smooth it out. Like so. And it needs to be, I think it needs to be even bigger than that, especially this area. This is where his belly is, so clearly this area needs more volume, like so. And yeah, and it does have love handles, so let's add those a little bit, and then we will start. Now go back to our shape here. Now this pictorial shape that we did is needs to be reproportioned. Also his shoulders, we will get to the shoulders in a minute, but he has this really big, broad shoulders. And but that's interesting. So in this image, the one that we are using, his pectoral muscles are much higher than they are in other situations, and so I'm not entirely sure what's the best let's see. Okay. All right. I like this. Let's smooth out this a little bit more, because his muscles are really not very defined, but it's not like bodybuilder muscles. It's just like a strongman kind of body. It's much more, it's less defined, but you can tell that it's very strong. Let's add a little bit volume here, like so, to create kind of a little bit of this shape. Maybe increase a little bit volume here. Now, let's take a look at the neck. In our previous screenshots, we've seen that the neck and the chin is very big. Let's see. So let's skip when the character is older, kind of like here. Let's see. It's kind of hard to tell. So let's see from here. Again, it's hard to tell. Also, I think I saw, yeah, this is from the back. This is him from the back, and you can see that this arch here, it's much more pronounced. Kind of like that. But the body shape, especially here, is supposed to be. So I'll tackle the arms in a second, but he's supposed to have this really broad body going on. So kind of like that. Let's smooth out the top here, and we are getting to a point where his particular physique starts shaping. Now here, let's add a little bit more volume here, although I don't think I recall any images of him from this point of view, so I don't really know what we should do for this area, but for now I just add a little bit more volume from this from here, let's see if is there any point where you can see him from the back, a full figure, but okay, this one a little bit. So let's see what's going on in here. If we put the character kind of like same size or as close as we can get. Let's go with the move brush. You can see here we're getting close to the shape of his back as well, and as far as his butt, doesn't seem to have much going on in terms of shape here, so it's probably even less defined than the one that we did. So just gonna move here. Oops. Something like this. It's smooth. So now let's try to fix this area. Again, I'm gonna hide here the arms, and I'm gonna smooth the inside like so. I'll probably move the arms a little bit more because he has such a big arms that this area here is it's kind of difficult to tackle. Actually, yeah, I think I'm gonna have to do a manual selection because the polygroups here are not they don't cover enough of the area that I want to select, so just went to the by pressing Control, the brush switches to selection brush, and I went from the default drag rectangle to a lasso. This will allows me to draw an area like this, and then I'm gonna go back to freehand and add a little bit of influence. I want to basically change a little bit of increase the shape of increase the pose of his arms. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use transpose and whoops, I'm gonna move this pivot here, and I'm gonna move this here, and let's see, you might want to have this. Alright, well, let's adjust. Let's bring back this volume. Here. And we are going to move this up like so. And smooth, 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 smooth to get a little bit more of that shape. The shoulder. And let's see. What we can do here. actually gonna dig a little bit inside here. Just to create enough room for the arms. Like this. And then I'll bring back the volume of the arms. Like so. So something like that. And now let's fix the pectoral muscles. But actually, before doing this, we should make sure that where was it? As you can see, I think this shape here is much smaller than it should be. So we should first adjust that. Like so. Add a little bit more volume here. And smooth it out. Like so. Now if we go back, his shoulder, if we move back this where it was before, let's see what we have. Yeah, that's not too bad, considering that the perspective and the pose are not exactly the same. That's pretty good. Yeah, I like. Now let's do this, the legs, and let's smooth this area, and that brings up this area here and smooth it out. Now let's see. Let's add a little bit more fat around this area. Because I've noticed that this area, the love handle area, it gets fatter or thinner based on the situation. So if they want to make it look more heroic, it's reduced, but alright, something like that. These are this muscle here on the back. Alright. I think it's started to look pretty cool. check, because I have the feeling that the shoulders, they have lost volumes. Keep in mind that this pose is going to be different, but let's see. Maybe something like that. And again, the shoulders. It doesn't have this very defined shape here. It's more like a, it's supposed to be more like this. Okay. So if I put the character here, trying to figure out, okay, maybe now it's a bit too wide. His chest, it's a little bit too wide now. Let's see. Let's bring back this image. Let's see how it seems to look okay in terms of overall shape. From the side. However, oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, it looks alright. So, let's see. If we go back here, I have the feeling that it doesn't. Let's try. Let's see if we can. How it looks compared to that image. So. Again, very difficult to judge because pose and angle and perspective are very different. It just feels like, alright, so this is something that I don't like. So there seems to be loss of volume here. So let's fix that. Like so. And I still think So this, oops, this area here should be a little bit less defined. Whoa. Okay. Something like that. And maybe just add a little bit more volume here. And then smooth it out like so. Let's add a little bit more volume here and smooth it out. Like so. Okay, so I'm just spinning around the character a little bit now and see where to add volume, where to remove volume. So that's the thing, he does not have this shape so well defined. So let's add more volume in here. Like so. There you go. That's more like it. Let's go back to our first image. Alright, looks pretty good. Now yeah, there is a gap here. So let's see. If I look at this image, let's try to define a little bit more this man boob here. And then it goes a little bit on top like that. But if I look here, I don't see this massive line here. It looks more it looks more like again, quite hard to tell from these pictures. this part should be probably broader. Like this. Kind of like that, maybe. So let's try to pull up a little bit more these leg muscles, and let's see. Let's try to smooth out this. Now I think I've defined it a little bit too much. So let's smooth out this, the middle of his chest. Like this. Okay. All right. That looks pretty good. And now let's move on to the arms. So let's see if we can define the shape a little bit, and this shape. Like so. Actually, a little bit more on the top, like here. This will help me to understand later where the bending point is for the arm. Let's put something like that. Doesn't have to be super accurate. All right. Now let's find again this. So his arms are clearly very muscled. So let's move like this. Let's make here a little bit of muscle like this. And I don't need this one. This is him from the back. Let's reduce a little bit of this shape and increase the shape on the other side. He has these big biceps. This is even better. So the elbow is supposed to be around here. And his elbow shape, let's pull it out a little bit, like so. And let's pull out this muscle here. biceps. Really need to be big. So it's kind of like this. And this, again, I'm constantly adjusting the shape of his body here. So like so. Okay. Like so. And his biceps. So the shoulder seems to be a little bit defined, but not extremely defined, but a little bit. So a little bit of musculature here. Something like that. Now, actually, this is supposed to be part of the muscle should follow this shape. So maybe more like here. And kind of like this. Yeah. And the biceps are, let's see. Let's go back to our original. Oops, what did I do? Let's go back to our original shape, original image here. Again, very difficult to judge from here. Something like this, maybe. Elbow needs to be a little bit defined, but not too much. Something like this. And now the forearm, the one I made, it looks quite small. So we're gonna extend it. I'm gonna do a selection here, and then I'm just gonna, with the move brush like I did before, just gonna extend this a little bit because it looks, currently it looks too small. So something like that. And now let's add this part, the forearm. Now let's see. The forearm is quite big, including a very large forgot the name. Wrist. Sometimes I forget names. Very large wrist, very broad, and okay, so there's something I don't like here. There's a pinch going on here. So let's take care of that, like so. And the muscle here, let's try to define it a little bit, like so. Okay, let's add a little bit more volume here. And here we go. Okay, now let's take a look at this guy proportions once more. So let's adjust a little bit more here. And here. Now, what should we do for the hands? Let's make the hands open, and then we will close them later when we pose the character. This way we can make the fingers. So let's see. There you go. Let's zoom in this picture. Shows the open arm, so we can kind of take a look if the sections we are doing, they are okay. That's quite hard to estimate, because again, this is a different pose, but perhaps the overall shapes. So the wrist seems to be what it's supposed to. Let's try to do this with the other side. So that's definitely a big challenge here. I'm not entirely sure that at this point trying to align would be a good idea, because pose is so different. So instead we're just going to eyeball it and try to keep a overall decent proportions. Because unless we are trying to match a specific pose, which we will probably do at the end, but for now it's just going to be difficult to do at this stage. Our pose will not match any of the poses that I have in my screenshot repository. So okay. Let's go back 1 second. I think I did undo too much. Alright. Now let's make the arm, the hands. So for the hands, first of all, let's do a quick save and save as Mr. Incredible 003, which is still the same video. And after the hands, I think I'm gonna wrap this up because it's getting too long. I just saw something that needed my attention there. I will refine this later. And something like that for now. Alright. Now, for the hands, I'm just going to isolate this. Actually, before doing that, let's roughly put in place the shape of a hand. So I'm not gonna follow particular image at the moment. I'm just gonna put in some generic hands, and then I'm gonna adjust them later. So now the hands are not, it seems like it doesn't have like particularly massive hands. They're fairly small, and so we're gonna keep them small as well. Let's start with the thumb. There isn't really a rule when making hands. I just personally, I'm just gonna start with something that I like, and that's it, and move from there. like so. There you go. Here's the thumb. Something like that. Let's add the other fingers. So let's go to clay brush. And let's see. Again, since we're gonna rig this character, which means we're gonna put bones to be able to pose it, and even eventually animate it, but I won't tackle animation for now because I'm not an animator, so my animation will be probably pretty bad. But for now, let's make sure that our character has what it needs. So let's put some fingers in it. All right. Let's move this more towards here. It's supposed to be the index finger, so it definitely needs to be more here. Let's do something like this. I'm not gonna make super detailed fingers at this stage, but I need to be sure that at least they have a decent base. So something like that. Let's increase a little bit the volume here. There are many different ways that you can make fingers. For now I'm just gonna sculpt it in roughly in a kind of like open position. It's gonna be easier to rig later. All right. Let's add the other fingers. Actually, you know what? Let's do something different. I'm gonna do a bunch of selections like this. And then invert the selection, and with the move brush, I'm just gonna extrude like so. Reveal the Dynamesh. And yeah, I don't want that to happen, but I'm gonna have to spread out the fingers a little bit more. Actually, let's use move topological. So move topological, what it does compared to the move brush, it basically, you can see it's not as fast as the other move, especially because this is a very high poly mesh. We are about 3 million polygons. But what it does compared to the regular move brush, basically it looks at the topology, and instead of moving everything that it's within his range, it only moves based on the first set of topology that it found. So if I only want to move one finger, let me show you this actually. If I click here and then move, it will affect mostly, so this is the same hand, so that doesn't really change too much, but if this was a separate piece, if the finger were separate pieces, it would only move the one where I clicked on, while the regular move, it just moves everything within his range independently. So maybe it's a little bit confusing, but I'm pretty sure we will encounter other examples where it will be easier to understand what's going on. Now let's reshape these fingers. So let's move here like so. Now the thumb, let's bring the thumb a little bit outside. Like that. And now let's see the tip of the fingers. Whoa. Okay, for the tip of the fingers, let's gonna use, if I press the letter E or I, sorry, I'm looking for inflate brush, and what this does, as you can see, it will inflate like a balloon, add a little bit more volume, and let's see, no, not this one. Now let's continue sculpting the hand. I got the knuckles, like so. And smooth it out a little bit. Again, these are cartoony hands, so we don't need to be like super uber anatomically correct. We won't anyway, because who cares? But let's try to get at least to a point where we are we have some decent shaped fingers. If I look at him, this pinky finger is a little bit definitely too long. Okay, like that. And like so. And let's add volume here. And smooth it out. And what happened to this finger? Okay. Like so. And the thumb. So let's move. So let's move these fingers a little bit. So this is gonna be here. is going to be here. And the pinky, it's still kind of too long, so let's make it short. Whoa, no, that's too fat. All right, like that. Let's smooth out a little bit, and let's keep going. So let's add a little bit of shape to these fingers. They don't have to be super realistic, but okay. Something like this maybe will do. Now the palm, I think, needs to be dragged down a little bit more. Something like that. And then let's make some decent shape. Let's try to make something that it looks like a thumb instead of this thing that I'm making now. So let's do something like that. All right. Something like this. And smooth, like so. Now let's smooth this out. And let's see what we have. So actually, I think I do have, there you go. I have an image that shows the shape of the hands, so we can kind of adjust our base to match a little bit better. So first of all, I think we're gonna need to spread these fingers, and to do that we're gonna use a lasso for the selection. So let's do something like that and rotate a little bit. Do the same for this finger and rotate a little bit. Do the same for this finger. Rotate. Oops. Rotate like so. Let's see what we have at the moment. Okay, so he has looks like he has thicker fingers. Let's move this here a little bit. Like so. So the pinky was not too bad, too short or too long. After all, something like that. And the thumb is gonna be rotated towards outside like this. So and it's bigger, thicker. Yeah, I was not, I forgot to pay attention to the angle. But so the hand position, it's different. It's probably going to be different. So what I wanted was just like some overall finger proportions to match with the one that he actually has in the movie, and it kind of looks a little bit like this, which is what I was looking for. Maybe like that. Like so. It does have, I mean, oops, it's he's a strong guy, so he does have big hands, big strong hands. Let's smooth this out. And let's take a look at what we have so far. So let's get these like so. And we don't want to have the fingers to look good from one side and look weird to the other side, so we need to kind of adjust them accordingly. We will do, again, I'll do a fine tweaking of the fingers later. Because this is not yet a detailed pass. We're just, again, we're just blocking out the character. There's a loss of volume here. So let's define a little bit the knuckles. Just a little bit. We will make them properly later. Like so. Now, something is really wrong here. The shape of this thumb really does not look like it should. So let's fix that. I think his thumb should be kind of thick, like so. And let's move this part down. will define better the lines. Oh, what happened here? Sometimes if you're not careful, you end up messing up something that you're not gonna pay attention to. All right. Now let's fix this. Massive forearm here. Maybe just let's rotate a little bit the hand, kind of like this and like this, maybe even that's fine. Again, something happened here, I don't know. So again, like the rest of the body, the hands need some more work, obviously, but for now, as a starting point for the hands, I think it's probably good enough. Let me adjust the hell is going on here. Let's smooth out all this mess. And let's go back to here, maybe like a little bit adjusting here. Like so. And I will definitely select individual fingers and you know, adjust the shape of them later. Let's go back to let's see, not this one, this one. Okay, we will see. It seems to have a larger thumb, so let's see, we inflate, and then it goes smaller in here. So yeah, something like that, maybe. And let's see. Shape a little bit more like this. And let's smooth out. All right. Like so. Now again, it doesn't have to be super duper accurate, but okay, something like this. That will do for now. Just a little bit more here. And make maybe this part a little bit bigger. Like so. And like that. All right. So I think we are at a pretty good stage. Still on perspective. So overall, let's see if you can see. Yeah, the proportions looks fairly decent. I think it looks reasonably similar to the guy with the original guy. Maybe we'll go here and add a little bit more volume here, this area, and in this area, like so. Something like that. It does have some weird shape going on here, so I'm not entirely sure what that's gonna be. Watching the movie, it does occasionally, when he bends, there's some weird shape going on. So I guess that depends on how the character was rigged. But yeah, I'm fairly happy with it for now. And so far, let's see. Let's add a bit more volume here. Like that. And smooth it out. All right. And smooth out all this area here that looks really let me see. Yeah, it doesn't really have much detail going on there, so but we in the next video we will start detailing and refining the character a little bit more. But for now I think we are to a good point. He looks pretty cool, and I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. This video has been going on for quite a while now. I hope you, well, if you fell asleep, good. If you managed to follow until the end, kudos to you. And so from the next video we will detail the characters and refine it even more. So I see you there, and thank you for watching.